Alright, so the story for the Leviathan DLC for Mass Effect 3 follows Shepard before the end of Mass Effect 3, of course, and here he's actually looking for a Reaper that actually killed another Reaper long ago, and this Reaper is called Leviathan. Now, for Shepard to do this, he has to gather clues and piece together where Leviathan was last seen and stuff, and also find other people that might know about where the Leviathan is, and of course kill a lot of enemies. I would say the story here is very good, especially with the whole mystery about Leviathan. You're like, oh my god, is it even really a Reaper? Is it something else? I was getting a Prometheus vibe from this, like, oh my god, what the hell is this thing? And you also meet a couple of new characters that I actually kind of liked. You know, nothing amazing, nobody you'll see again in the Mass Effect universe, but decent characters nonetheless. So I thought the story for this DLC was very well done and kind of spooky. Now, the sound for the DLC for Mass Effect 3 does introduce a couple of new voice actors for some of the new characters, and for the most part, they do a really good job. Nothing amazing again, nothing very memorable, but they do a good job in their supporting roles. And the rest of the voice cast comes back. Of course, I'm talking about Shepard and the rest of his crew, and Hackett, and all those guys. Yeah, they come back and they voice their respective characters. Now, the sound design is more of the same. I mean, it sounds great, don't get me wrong, especially for one level where you're actually running through an environment and things are just getting blown up everywhere, and it sounds great. And the soundtrack is, of course, more of the same as well, even though I would say the last 15 minutes, they do something really cool with that whole calm and cool and very creepy environment that you'll be walking through, so I'll give the soundtrack that. So overall, I think the sound here is just as superb as it was back in March. Now, the graphics look identical to Mass Effect 3's. I mean, there's no real big differences here. I mean, the character models still look great. The effects, especially the biotic powers, look amazing. The environments are very well detailed. Texturing is great. You still got that scope in the environment, so you can see a bunch of mountains or other planets in the sky and stuff. You still have all that. Now, one thing that is different is that you get a couple of new environments that you get to explore, and a couple of them are actually really cool just because of the stuff that's going on. There's one whole level where you'll be running through pretty much, in a way, a maze of just destruction, like a bunch of buildings toppling over, and you'll have to find a way to get to the next part by going through this toppled building and stuff. And it actually is really cool to look at. It's very well detailed, and it's kind of cool. I haven't done that in a Mass Effect game before. And there is a whole underwater section in the game, which looks absolutely gorgeous. So overall, I think the graphics here are absolutely fantastic. Now, the gameplay for the Leviathan DLC, I would say, is about 3 hours long. It took me about 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete. And for that 2 hours and 45 minutes, I killed a lot of dudes, with guns, of course. I ran through an environment that was getting destroyed by Reapers. I went underneath the sea to find something. I pieced together clues to find that said something. I saved a whole minor civilization from being mind controlled by something, and I killed a lot of dudes. Did I mention that? I think I did. And I did a lot of stuff in that almost 3 hours of gameplay. Now, there was probably one thing that you heard me say that you were like, wait, what? And that is, of course, piecing clues together. Yeah, that's right. The first thing you do in this game for the first 30 minutes is actually piece clues together in a lab to find the whereabouts of a scientist that you can ask about the Leviathan. So you get these clues together, you find these clues, and then you actually have to match them up with planets on the galaxy map and find the current whereabouts of a scientist that you have to interrogate. And that's a really cool feature in Mass Effect. I wish that was in more Mass Effect games, or just in Mass Effect 3 more. That would have been cool. And of course, you shoot a lot of dudes, like I said, and you talk to a lot of other characters in the game, and for the most part, that is a lot of fun. They actually managed to break it up very nicely, where you'll be shooting sometimes, then conversation, shooting sometimes, and then crime scene thing. So they really break it up very nicely, and for the most part, the DLC was very entertaining. The story was really good, very creepy at the end, and even in the middle, where you're talking to a bunch of mind-controlled freaks, pretty much. It's very entertaining. It really is, and scary. So overall, I would say Leviathan DLC is worthy of that $10 if you really wanted some more Mass Effect 3 and some more story that actually, is worthy of being told. Definitely go check it out, because it is a very good DLC. There you go. There's my review. Thank you, and goodbye.